everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about my weight loss journey so far. So currently I am down 80 pounds, which is halfway through my weight loss goal. So currently I'm trying to lose 80 more pounds to reach my fitness goal, my weight loss goal. It's not all about the numbers. I I do know this, and something I am learning through self-love, that it's not always about the numbers, but for me it is about getting to that healthy range for myself and for my body. Um, so I started my weight loss journey at 290 pounds. Currently, I'm at 210 pounds. And so I lost the majority of the 80 pounds during the year of 2021 spring to 2020. Oh, sorry, 2020 spring to 2021 spring. So in the 12-month span, I did lose 80 pounds. The way I did that, it was by cutting back of the eating I was doing. So I was doing a lot of unhealthy eating before then, a lot of just kind of more, per se, binge eating, just kind of nonstop, or just eating with my feelings. And so I had to teach myself how to stop eating with my feelings and instead channel those feelings in a different, more healthy way. And the way I did this was I went on lots of walks. So I started out with walking because when I started my weight loss journey at 290 pounds, I could not walk more than 5 minutes without being in like actual physical pain with my feet and just being exhausted and just not being able to like continue. And I worked a job at the time that I had to be on my feet all day, had to be doing a lot of different, you know, cleaning and things like that. I worked as a similar job to like a care aide. So as you can imagine, that was a really difficult job to do with the fitness level and the health level I was at the time. But gradually, I started just walking more and more, invested in some really good shoes. I really loved the Adidas Cloud Foam shoes. And I started walking about 4 times a week, and I would do about 1 hour to 2 hour walks. So it ended up being about 3 miles, 3 to 4 miles at the time, that I would complete on a walk. And oftentimes I would just take my son with me in the stroller, and he would love the sunshine, of course, or whatever weather it was that day. And we would just go together and walk. And I was also with my best friend at the time, and so they would also come walking with me as well. And so it was always a really wonderful time. So that was something that really encouraged me to start getting on track with my health goals and getting on track with my goals. Because currently I have almost 5 year olds, so you can imagine at the time he was 2 to 3, and 2 to 3 year olds run around all the time. I could not keep up with him. I physically and mentally was just exhausted. I could not do it at the time. I was like, I'm never going to get there. I did not have any self love really at the time. I just knew I had to get there for him. So he was my main motivator at the time because I wanted to be able to give him the best life that I could. So as I started like losing more weight, I noticed that I was not only doing it just for my son, but I was doing it for me as well. Because this is a very personal goal, as it is to everyone. So everyone has their own personal goals and why they're doing something. For me, it was for myself and my son. Um, so I would walk around different parks. My favorite place to go is Alki Beach in Seattle. It's my absolute favorite place to walk still. I just love it. I love anywhere by the ocean. So if I have excuse to go walk by the ocean, I will actually go drive hour, 2 hours to go walk an hour or two by the ocean. So that's a huge motivator for me to get up and go. Um, but it's besides just walking like 3, 4 times a week. Sometimes it'd be more, sometimes less, depending if it was raining. As I live in Washington, it sometimes rains all the time. So I also focused on what I was eating. So I had cut out dairy at the time because I noticed that it wasn't really sitting well with my body and with how I was feeling. So I had switched over to oat milk with like my coffee, or oat milk when cooking, and I started to feel a lot better. At the time when I was drinking dairy or having dairy with things, not necessarily, I wasn't cutting out dairy completely, just use of cow's milk in like coffee or cooking or baking and such. At the time, I felt really lethargic and felt like really, this might be TMI, but really like mucusy and um, like my nose was plugged up all the time. So I just had cut it out and I noticed that improving. Noticed I had more energy throughout the day as well. So I was like, well, like still not quite feeling like where my diet like is helping me. Like, so I was doing the physical walks, the amount of times I was doing it, and I felt like I needed to do a little bit more with my diet besides just cutting it out. So I was like, well, what am I eating? How is this feeling my body to continue on with my day, to continue on with my health journey? So I actually had cut out gluten for a little while just to see, is this something that like is helping me, is not helping me. I have a past of Hashimoto's, so as you know, with Hashimoto's, gluten and dairy are triggers for that. So I was trying to also go back to cutting gluten out to see if that would help. I was worried about my thyroid levels at the time. Thankfully, alhamdulillah, they came back normal because I had gotten everything checked. Mind you, I ran everything by a doctor, so please don't just cut out things just because, someone says, hey, I did this, I cut it out. I did it for myself because it's what felt good. At the time, it felt what I needed to do for myself. So, continuing this, I noticed like the walking was great, but I wanted something more. I wanted to be doing more activity, especially when, there are days that it's raining and you live in Washington, like there's not a whole lot to do as far as physical activity outside when it's raining, at least with a kid, because you don't want to get them sick, obviously. So I joined Beachbody, and doing Beachbody, my experience, I absolutely loved it. Starting up Beachbody was, of course, it's an investment, but it's an investment in yourself. So it's something that I was willing to do and something I wanted to do. So I started off with, I think it was the 100 morning meltdown. I think that's what the program's called. I remember lifting a 2-pound weight and thinking, oh my gosh, this is the hardest thing ever. I can't do this. Like, I am not strong enough. But then I saw gradually through that program that, I'm getting stronger. I worked my way up to a 10-pound weight by the end of that program. And I was like, whoa, look how the progress, like I honestly, like, I still can't believe, like, I looking back at my journey just even 2 years ago, like thinking a 2-pound weight was extremely heavy and that's where I had started out, and now I'm lifting 12-pound weights occasionally when I can. Upper body is always the hardest part, but doing the Beachbody gave me this self-love and self-confidence teaching, because not only is it just like a fitness program, but they also like give you good motivation and give you good mindset throughout the programs as well. So doing Beachbody was a very good way for me to incorporate physical activity in my routine because I was working as a medical assistant. So I was running around all day, but that's a different kind of, physical activity. And I wanted to do like weightlifting, and I ended up doing a program called like Muscle Burns Fat to do more weightlifting and just to kind of push myself. So at the end of like the spring of 2021 is kind of when my weight loss journey, or I don't like to say weight loss journey specific, but like my health journey, like with my weight kind of slowed down and just stayed in maintenance for a while. And granted, I was doing the activity and my diet kind of plateaued. I wasn't on top of my diet, not necessarily diet, because I wasn't on a specific diet, but I wasn't on top of like what I was eating like very well still. I was still eating like whatever I wanted, and um granted I did change a lot of that, and I was eating more of like 2 to 3 meals a day in comparison to when I had started out, to when I was just eating whenever I felt something different. Like I felt sad, I would eat something. I felt happy, I would eat something. If I felt like I needed to congratulate myself, I would eat something. So obviously, like, this is not the healthiest way to be eating. And so I had learned how to, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry. I learned how to use my emotions in a different way, whether that's if I'm upset or if my mood changes, I'm like, okay, I feel like I want to eat something. Because obviously food correlates with our emotions sometimes, but I'm not hungry, is what I was starting to learn at that point. And this has been a lifelong like journey for me to learn how to eat intuitively, how to eat in a healthy way, and not just eat with emotions. So instead of eating, like, for example, when I started my health journey, I was eating like mashed potatoes with gravy and like meat and vegetables. And granted, like that sounds really delicious, like a shepherd's pie type thing, but I wasn't eating just a serving. I was eating, if I would make a shepherd's pie type, for example, I would eat like half the dish. So I wasn't eating correct portions. So doing the beach body, doing the walks, and having this support of my best friend that I did have, and I still have, gave me the confidence to be like, hey, you know what, you're doing this wrong, and call myself out on it. Because essentially that's what needed to happen. I needed to call myself out. And I started to cut back on what I was eating to more. If I, again, using shepherd's pie as an example, I would have like a scoop in a bowl, like a reasonable sized portion. And then maybe like if I was still hungry, I would go back for a vegetable or in a different healthy way. And I try to incorporate more protein into my diet. I struggle with vegetables and trying to find ways to use them. So that's still something I'm trying to do. And um yeah, so I also started doing the Shakeology protein shakes. I did that for a little while. They are relatively very expensive, and so I only did it for, I think it was about 4 months at that time, and then I had stopped just because paying $100 for protein shakes that are only 30 days safe, 30-day servings is, really hard to budget in with everything. So back to, again, sorry for the little tangent there, but back to the end of spring of 2021, at the end of Ramadan, I was at 208. And I was like, okay, yeah, I feel a lot healthier. Like, I feel like I can keep going. And then I just kind of plateaued. Like, my fitness level was always up and down, depending on what was going on at work, or I wasn't consistent. I stopped being consistent at that point. I had lost the 80 pounds and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm doing really good. Like, I can do whatever I want. And so I started eating a little bit more, like maybe having like chips and popcorn, which isn't a bad thing. Just, I don't need a full bowl to myself of everything. Um, and so this brought to this year, I started to like try to control what I was eating. Not necessarily control, just like take back what I was eating a little bit. Like instead of like going for like tons of chips, I would try to go for like an apple or something a little bit healthier. And I was working towards getting my physical activity up a little bit because I did get the big C, not going to say it. And both my son and I were super sick for about a month, so obviously did not work out during that whole month this year. Um, so I started seeing an actual weight loss doctor for weight loss because I was just giving up and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I felt like I was eating okay. I felt like I was exercising okay, and that was this year. Um, and so currently I am still seeing the weight loss doctor. I am on a medication called Ozempic. Now, this does not correlate with actual weight loss. It just helps your brain communicate, essentially your stomach, without using scientific words here, that you know, you're not hungry. It helps the communication there. So I didn't want something that would prevent me from eating, or I didn't want something that would change things. I needed just the help to recognize. And so I am taking Ozempic. I have been for since July, end of July, I believe. Yeah, end of July 2022. It's now December. So almost 6 months I've been taking it. At the time when I started Ozempic, I was actually at 225. So I had actually gained weight, just being sick and everything. And now I'm back down to 210. So as you can see, like, my health journey, my weight loss journey is up and down. It's not just one, like, straight line down. It's been ups, it's been downs. So, currently, I have actually stopped doing the beach body because I noticed that it was not working for me. Like, I love it so much, but I was like, now that I work from home, I am just home all the time and doing the beach body, I was just not motivated to do it. I was like, I'm not really excited. Like, I don't get to come home and work out, and like look forward to the workout. I was just like, oh, I'll do it after I get this done. I'll do it after A, B, and C. And like, I'm just at home. I can do it anytime. And so I just used that excuse until it got too late during the night because we have neighbors. And so obviously we can't be jumping and doing jumping jacks at 10 o'clock at night because that's not very polite to them. Um, and so, yeah, I made the decision last month, recently, to actually join Planet Fitness and actually go to a gym. And I stopped the Beachbody because I don't want to pay for two fitness subscriptions, memberships. Actually, it's what it's called. Sorry. I don't want to pay for two at the same time because they are about the same every month. Plus, Beachbody has an annual fee that you have to pay as well. Planet Fitness as well, but it's a lot less. I've noticed that as I started going to Planet Fitness now, I'm starting to feel strong again. I'm starting to feel healthier. My mood has been more lifted because I'm actually able to get out of the house and be able to work out for an hour, hour and a half. Currently, I'm doing like an hour of cardio and then I just started incorporating the weights again. I did do, I'm doing Catherine June's weight program. So she has an Instagram page that's private that you have to, um, she has a very small fee that you have to pay, and she teaches you how to do the weights correctly. And that's something I do want to learn. So I'm currently doing that. So yeah. So this is my health and weight loss journey. So far, currently halfway through. I will keep posting updates on how I'm doing with my weight loss journey. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. I on my channel I'm making lifestyle videos. I'll be doing fashion. I'll be doing a little bit of makeup. I'm not a makeup girl. I'll be doing health and fitness. And yeah, so just hit the subscribe button and then I'll see you next video.